Yeah, definitely.
Cool. All right. Next, we have someone calling from Colorado. Says, if I'm reading this correctly, they don't believe they're from Earth. I'm not sure if I'm saying this name right. Is it Cassidy? Is it
okay?
Is that right, Cassidy?
Yes.
All
Yes,
right.
Cassidy.
Hey,
Sorry, there
Cassidy.
was a beep.
You are on
Yes,
with
it's
Richard
Cassidy.
and Ethan. How are you?
Hi, guys. I am feeling a lot better than I was before the show. I really like your guys' show.
Well,
Thank
sweet.
you.
I'm glad
I'm feeling great.
Good. One thing to keep in mind, there seems to be like a slight delay. So if we overtalk each other at any point, just know it's not intentional. It's unfortunately comes with streaming. Yeah, there's just a delay with the call. So anyways, am I reading this correctly that you believe you're not from Earth?
Well, it's a little bit more complicated than that. I didn't come out of a spaceship or anything.
Okay.
I was born in Denver, Colorado in 1978. So it's not like that, and it's not a starseed thing either. I saw somebody ask that, and I'm watching the show while I'm talking to you guys. But
it's not what a starseed thing. What's that? All right, okay.
Starseeds are forms of, or rather, one evolution of awakened human beings who believe that they can remember their previous incarnations on other planets. I'm not one of them.
Okay. And then whatever you do, don't YouTube, there is about a 15-second delay. So don't pay attention to YouTube, pay attention to the phone because
yes, sir.
The words won't line up correctly. So yeah. Anyways, okay, go ahead. If you could finish explaining.
All right. So like I said, it's a more of a consciousness thing. It's like I said before, the starseeds believe that they can remember previous past life incarnations on other planets. The only difference between them and my situation is I didn't die to get here. I don't quite understand how I got here in this format. But the mission's still the mission, so here we go.
So can I've just got a question that just to clarify something for my own understanding. Are you saying, because I've got two things in mind here, are you saying that you were born in the body you are now and the consciousness came in from outside and entered that body? Or are you saying that you were born with the human consciousness and you can communicate with beings from outside via your body? Or something different? Have I got it completely wrong on both counts?
Yeah. No, you're not. It's not completely wrong. Essentially, it's gonna sound a little bit. Just bear with me for a moment, all right? Essentially, my people are made of light. Okay, our technology is based on consciousness, gravity, the fundamental planes of physics, things like that. So, getting here was a bit of a turmoil. My people were shot at when we arrived, and as an emergency measure, I got into a womb. And quite frankly, I decided that it would be best to forget the whole thing, and the memories wouldn't stop. The way of sensing the way my people sense wouldn't stop. It just would never stop. So once I finally got into advanced science, I started to research this. I figured, basically, given what happened in the background in my academic career, I figured there's no chance in hell I'm ever going to be able to be a real scientist. So I might as well study something fun. And at that point, I had decided that this was nothing but some dream I came up with as a kid.
Okay.
So I said, all right, well, okay, let's test it. Let's test it. And the more I tested, the more it turned out to be true.
How did you test it?
As I went along. What was that?
How did you test it?
Well, various methods, primarily by plucking various energy cores. If this is true, then I should be able to produce various results within 3D space. And over time,
I don't know what that means.
That I could actually...
I don't know what that means. You're going to have to explain it in a more layman's terms.
Okay, so imagine if playing music, right? Like a sound tone at the exact right frequency. You know how that can split crystal, correct? Or shatter crystal, rather. Imagine if you could do the same thing to neurons in the brain, right?
So how did you test this? Because What science did you take classes in?
Oh, originally biology. I wanted to be a marine biologist. I wanted to show the world what I saw in whales and stop the whale hunting. And I realized after studying human history that wasn't going to happen.
Let me just explain why I'm going down this route with you, why I'm asking you these questions, because I don't want you to think I'm just asking you random questions for the sake of it. You're saying you evidenced this to yourself by doing tests, but yet the tests you're explaining to me don't seem to have anything to do with your professional scientific career. They just seem to be more just kind of things that and I don't mean to be rude when I say this, but just things that you're plucking out of thin air. They don't seem to be testable tests. They're nothing that can be repeatable by anyone. I'm just wondering how I want they are repeatable. How are they repeatable?
Yes. I have several human students. Part of the mission is to teach our technology. That's the deal. We get a home, you get our technology. The mission hasn't changed just because I wasn't born a starseed.
I have so many questions.
And as far as scientific career, hold on one second. I have no scientific career. My scientific career got blown out of the water before I even made it out of college.
Okay.
There's a whole story.
Thank you for clarifying that.
So essentially, hold on. So what I decided to do was apply what I learned of the scientific method to these memories. It was purely an artistic endeavor. You see what I mean?
Okay.
That's all I wanted to say. Go ahead, please.
Okay. I don't know where to go with this, but I have two questions. One, when you say you chose a womb, because as far as I know, two people have sex and then they can conceive a child. How did you get into a womb when, from the my naturalistic understanding is it's just sperm, egg, bam, humans born?
Well, consciousness doesn't exist until, the second trimester? So, I mean, until then, there's literally just a matter of cells. It's a biological cocoon, I guess, is a good way to put it.
So does that mean you robbed somebody else's brain? Like there was somebody else's consciousness and you took it over?
No, I told you, consciousness is a fundamental of our technology. People who believe in spirits and whatnot, like Christians, for example, they'll talk about like the waiting room where a mother meets the baby that they're going to meet, correct? I'm not trying to be mocking, I'm trying to be poetic. So that space, right, can be described in physics when one understands the phenomenon at play. So while a spiritualist would say it's a spiritual waiting room, I would see it as essentially the pinpoint of consciousness that forms a conception between mother and father. Basically, I couldn't have come here unless my mother said so.
Can you explain a little bit?
Oh, sorry, go ahead. Ethan. Well, yeah, let me actually real quick. So does this imply that all of us are these people, like including me?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
How can I unlock these memories? This is literally just
I'm sorry, go ahead.
How can I unlock these memories?
Well, there's a number of methods. I found it depends entirely, well, not entirely, but greatly on the culture you come from, because that tends to form your belief on how the universe functions. For example, Christians, I'll give them instructions on what to pray for. Atheists, I'll give them the same instructions that Socrates used. You know, it's not a matter of spirituality. It's a matter of how the human brain functions, if I am correct and I'm not a lunatic. See, that's a big part of it. I'm on a journey to find out whether or not I'm correct, sir.
Okay, so that's a great time to ask, how can we know that you're being truthful and verify any of this?
Well, I can prove the genetics that I'm talking about. Point of fact, these genetics are the reason why the government is trying to pay for my daughter's heart transplant. If it wasn't for the differential genomics and the fact that my genes and human genes function together, we would be out in the cold like any other poor family. So, basically, I can prove what I say.
Okay. would you be able to, without, I don't want you providing me personal medical information necessarily, but what information?
No, I said I'd answer anything.
No, I know, like what documentation, for instance, could you perhaps send me that we could review, that I could review?
I can send you the MRIs from one of my, I don't know if I can't call them clients because I don't charge for what I do, but as part of proof of what I do, I essentially, I don't want to say heal because it's not like magic, it's technology. I apply our medical technology. And in one case, one lady thought, I can't say her name obviously, she thought that she was going to bust me and expose me when her husband didn't make it through his surgery. And so she had MRIs taken of the entire thing, and well, it worked. So that's one of the proofs that I have.
How do the surgery performed by the doctors or surgery performed by you?
The surgery performed by the doctors. I was nowhere near when I was in California. She's in like New York.
So then wouldn't it be the doctors who fixed the person, not you?
It was the doc. No, because when he went in for surgery, his tumor was gone. They had to open him up and to see if it was, you know, they were reading it wrong on the MRI.
Are there any physical signs of this technology you used? Rather than just saying, which is, I accept, I'll take your word for it, that the tumor was gone, because there might be unknown medical reasons as to why the tumor was gone. But during the MRI results, are there actual traces of the technology you used that can demonstrate that it was your technology that made the tumor go, as opposed to some kind of natural medical phenomena?
Well, if things work the way I believe they work, and I'm correct, again, right, remember, I'm on the journey to figure out whether or not I'm just crazy, right? If things work the way I believe they work, then absolutely yes. There should be a radiation signature, at least.
So if I'm understanding you correctly, you're open to being wrong on this. And I want to be very clear. I'm not going to say you're crazy. I don't like saying that. I don't think it, I'm not going to diagnose people, and I think that's just rude to say. But it sounds like you're open to the possibility that you're looking at this incorrectly. Is that correct?
Sir, I'm praying that's the case.
So what would it take specifically, do you think, to shake your confidence in this belief you have?
Just proof one way or another. The problem is I can't quite get the proof that I need personally one way or another. Like, for example, the DNA, that is absolutely proof. The question isn't what, the question is why. You see what I mean? The problem with this genome, and you guys can fact check on this later, the problem is that it's a fairly newly discovered thing. They've never had very many people, they haven't had anyone they could study that didn't have either some kind of traumatic brain injury or some other like learning deficiency. I've had several severe traumatic brain injuries. My daughter is the first person they've ever been able to study with neither. You see? So I had to sign these contracts with them.
Can I just ask you a question regarding your? Sorry, can I just ask you a question regarding your own statements? Before I do, I want to echo Ethan's sentiment that I'm not in any way suggesting that you are crazy. I'm just going on what you've said yourself, and I'm leading from that. Have you actually sought any kind of medical or psychiatric help to see if that's the case? Have you been to doctors and have them assess you?
Yes, sir. I have been in therapy since I was 8 years old. My mother would disagree. She'd say it was 11, but that's between my mom and dad deciding who did it first. I've also had several MRIs, several brain scans. They've tested to see if I was schizophrenic 3 times now. My official diagnosis is highly intuitive with an overactive imagination.
Right, so you have got an official diagnosis then?
What was that?
No, I just said I have a pretty
I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Richard, go ahead. I'll shut up.
You have got an actual official diagnosis then as to what this condition might be from the medical perspective?
Yeah, I just told you what it was.
Yeah, no, I'm just clarifying. That's
literally,
all.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, the thing is that upon testing, my intuitiveness, as my therapist put it can be verified over time. It's not something I could do on a show. I'm not psychic,
Okay.
So that can't really be questioned. Like, for example, I have a series of predictions based on my calculations of the way things will go. Every single one of them has come true. This is literally to the point where I was trying to get in contact with like ESETI, David Wilcock, all of them. None of them disagree with what I'm saying. They've all put me through their test. They do believe I am who I say I am. The problem is I won't shut up. When COVID was on the way, I was not shutting up. I was saying, it's coming, this is what you need to do. You could go back on my show and you can literally see it. I mean, right down to Fauci lying.
Can you give us a prediction now that we can verify in the future?
Yes.
Something which is time specific, specific in the events it predicts, something that we can say on a certain date, perhaps this thing will happen, and it's clear and can't be confused with something else. Can you give us a prediction like that now?
Actually, yes, I can.
Thank you.
On September 8th, Fashion Week begins. If I'm correct, if what I've seen is correct 100%, which so far, like right down to coming from the Gobi Desert. But keep in mind, I pray I'm wrong. I do not want to be right. All right, I want to be a crazy guy so I can just draw my comic books. Sorry.
It's fine.
Anyway, so if I'm correct, then essentially there.
I'm just looking for a pen. I'm going to write this down.
What was that?
Oh, he's
I'm
getting.
going to write this down.
Oh yeah. So on September 8th, Fashion Week starts. It's going to be a worldwide party celebrating the end of the pandemic. If I'm correct, there will be some kind of massive, gruesome terrorist attack, specifically beginning on the runways, and it will. There are supernatural elements to what I see. I don't know how it can translate to like real events, but it'll be gruesome, and it'll start with the models, and it will be a deliberate religious terroristic attack.
Would you be willing to
specifically the words?
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I apologize. No, go ahead.
Specifically, this group will be attempting to punish the world for its greed. The word mammon should come up, and the mammon, according to Christians and Muslims, is the angel of greed. So,
can I just ask you a question based on that? You say it's the end of the pandemic. Can you be more specific? Do you mean Is it the date where there are going to be no more cases of COVID?
No, that's not even remotely the issue. What it is the rich elite, quote unquote, will be celebrating the end of the lockdowns. That's what I should.
All worldwide lockdowns will end by that date. Sorry.
Yeah, my bad. Again, traumatic brain injury. I do get my nouns and my numbers messed up.
No, that's fine.
But yeah, so it'll be September 6th, beginning of Fashion Week specifically. And if it's anything other than that, then I'm not completely correct.
So,
and thank God.
2 questions. One, would you be willing to call back after that date so we can follow up on this?
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, heck yeah.
And then, if there's anything left to call back on.
Question 2. This is a super chat from Stiletto Ray. Thank you. I just want to clarify the caller's ideology is the same as star people who believe in ancient extraterrestrial war between lion-eat extraterrestrials, reptilian extraterrestrials, and someone else, or is this a separate ideology? He said at the beginning of the call, and correct me if I'm wrong, Cassidy, that this is separate from the star children. Correct?
Well, not exactly. That gets into my proofs and then genetics and whatnot. The Native Americans, I am Native American. The Native Americans believe that they've had interbreeding with the quote unquote star people for many, many generations. My whole philosophy is that if this is true, there will be some kind of scientific evidence that is reproducible. You see what I mean?
Okay. Well, Richard, do you have any other questions?
No. If I can finish answering that question, please.
Sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Now, what I discovered when I started coming out to humans is that they associate me with the quote unquote lion people. That's why whenever I'm talking online, I say, you call my people the feline Lyrans. We're not lions, we're energy beings. You see what I mean? I don't know why humans associate us with lions, but whatever. If this is true, then we all have a very nasty responsibility, and we don't have a whole lot of time. I mean, every thinking being on the planet. And if it's not true, it makes for a great story.
All right. Well,
either way.
Cassidy, thank you so much for your call. And I would definitely, if you could, welcome you to call back after your prediction date. Richard, what was that again? September
the 6th.
September the 6th. Let me pull this up real quick. That would be our first show after September 6th, would be September 7th. So if you can call back on September 7th, that would be awesome, Cassidy.
Well, hold on. No, September 8th is when Fashion Week starts.
Oh, okay.
So
okay, you did say September the 8th of the 1st, and then you said September the 6th. I'm just trying to clarify the exact date.
So September 6th is my birthday. Again, I get names and dates switched.
No, that's fine.
That's one of the reasons I don't have evidence.
Just clarifying.
Really good, solid evidence.
So September 13th, we've been connected on Facebook. So let's follow up then. Cassidy, thank you for taking the time to call in.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you guys. I really appreciate it. You're on a good show.
Thank you. Have a good day. That was a lot to tackle.
Yeah, definitely.
I genuinely didn't know what direction to go. I do have a lot more questions. And Kenneth, yes, I have no idea when Fashion Week starts. As you can see, this is my fashion. I'm not very fashionable. I actually have asked either my brother or my girlfriend to help me pick out clothes, because if it was up to me, I would be wearing those big baggy cargo shorts that go below my knees. Like, I still have those. And my girlfriend's like, oh my God, don't wear them. Same with my brother. He's like, you've got to get a better sense of fashion. So yeah, I don't necessarily have good taste. Except for my streaming shirts.
You need the Kenny Lenny debonair stare and suit. That's what you need.